First of all, thank you for taking the time to care about yourself. A lot of people don't ever get to "it's my turn," and it is your turn. So first and foremost, thank you for coming to me for an EFT session. And I just want to tell you a little bit about what kinds of things to expect and what your job is and what my job is. And I know that seems like work, but when you go to a trainer for exercise in a gym, he doesn't work out for you while you watch. So I will be asking you some things, and they're very, very, very simple. First of all, when you start thinking about things that have bothered you, I'll give you a lot of instructions on what to do on your own, a way to make all these things go faster. But when you're with me, what I'm going to be mostly interested in is your first learning years, which is somewhere between birth and sometimes pre-birth inside mommy's tummy, because we are learning and feeling even inside as when your mom's pregnant, all the way up into maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. These are the most important years because this is when we learn most of, when we're wide open, and we learn most of what is going to affect us. So it's not that I don't care about what happened with your husband last week or what happened with your daughter or your wife, or I do care. But what I'm going to do is start asking you, when is the first time you felt that? Or what does that remind you of? Or I'll ask all kinds of good questions to see if I can get you back there. Now, some people don't have any memories or pictures of what that first years of learning, or maybe, oh, nothing happened to me during that time. I had a great childhood, or I don't remember it, it's not important. That's my job, is to figure out what's important for you, and I will do that just by asking you a couple questions, and because it's your subconscious that I'm trying to talk to and get through and make your subconscious and yourself feel safe. So if you don't remember anything in those years, it's still there, you just don't have access to it, and that's my job to help you get to that. Because the events that we're going to be looking for is the things that did happen to you at that time. So if you're saying, well, I don't feel good enough to do this, or I'm too old, or I don't want to start over because I'm not smart enough, and any of those kinds of things, that's what we call global. I'll be asking you questions like, why don't you feel you're good enough? Or are you not good enough because you're not smart enough? Are you not good enough because you're afraid what people will think? You're not good enough because you don't think you have enough information? So that's my job, is to ask you those questions. It's not like you gave me the wrong answer. There's never a wrong answer. It's just I'll keep going and keep asking until we can get to a place that I feel that we can really start tapping to start clearing things. So another part of your job is to tell me whatever pops up. We might be tapping on one thing, and for some crazy reason, the time your brother was in, picked you up in kindergarten, came to the school, pops up, and you're like, well, that's not doesn't mean anything. What significance is that? Let me figure that out. Your job is just to tell me and to notice it, because sometimes and I'm telling you, everybody, it pops in theirs, and I'll see it cross their eyes. I'm like, what was that? It's like, oh, nothing. What, I saw it cross your eyes. What is it? So I just thought about, my brother picking me up from school, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Okay, well, see, the subconscious is saying, this is something important. So please, even interrupt me, because when we do this, we'll do like a Simon Says. I say something, then you say something, and we'll go around the points while we're talking. And so if I'm in the middle of something, this is your time. Please tell me it pops up. We might write it down and get to it later, or we'll stop what we're doing right there. But that part's my job, to be able to help you. Your job is to tell me whatever that is that pops up. I might even say, when's the first time you felt that way? We might go off into more questioning, or we'll finish what we're doing, depending on what we're doing. Also, another part of what I need you to do is to concentrate on your feelings. Now, for many people, this is very, very difficult to do because you don't know, I was angry. Okay, so we'll do angry, but I might go, okay, is it angry somebody I'm taking advantage of? Is it angry, I'll never be able to do this? Is it frustration? So I'll ask you those questions, but if you could please tell me what you're feeling. And sometimes I'll guess. We'll be going around and I'll say, I don't feel like I'm good enough, and that makes me angry, and I'm mad at him. And you can say, well, I'm not really mad at him. I'll go, okay, I'm mad at her or them, or yeah, okay, or it's not really mad, it's more like frustrated. And I'll say, okay, frustrated. So we'll go around and do that. Speaking of that, now sometimes I'll say something that's crazy, like way off the deep end. I wish he would just die. Well, you don't really wish somebody's going to die, but sometimes there's this little piece of part of you that it just flicked through your mind for just a second, and then you go, of course I don't want anybody to die, but sometimes it just goes in your head, I wish he would die, because that'd make things easier. I don't wish he would die. So you don't have to worry if we say something that's totally and completely off the deep end, because we're just trying to address and be true to every little part of you, even the ridiculous parts that you would never consider. And you don't have to worry that I wish he would die, that he's going to suddenly fall over dead. That's not that's not what happens. We're not magic or anything. And so we're just addressing the negative feelings that you could possibly have felt even for a minute. And then we'll just keep continue. No, I would never do that. You know, I wish he would die. Of course I don't wish he would die. You know, or I wish he would just, you know, move away and never see me again. You know, well, okay, well, I don't really wish that. Actually, I wish both. I wish he would go away and stay. You know, so impossible things we might tap on. I mean, if you truly are uncomfortable with saying something, I'm of course not going to force you to say it or anything, but I might bring it up, and I'm just letting you know what to expect. And in that case, it's not going to hurt anything if you say something negative. And speaking about saying the negative, that's what we do. We say the negative because we're seeing the truth in you. So when we're tapping, we're looking at truth, even if truth hurts. And what I mean by that is, like, say, of course, you hear a lot about saying the positive all the time, and you shouldn't say the negative because that's instilling negative thoughts into your head. Well, the truth is you're saying it anyway. And as long as you're tapping while you're saying the negative, it clears it. One of my clients once said, it's like delete keys. Well, I wouldn't go that far because it doesn't erase it doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't change the facts. It just changes your feelings around the facts. So it's okay to call it, delete keys, because I think it's something cute that was about saying something negative. So you can tap on the negative things, and it's okay to think negative thoughts about yourself if you tap along, because then it starts releasing the negative feelings. So you can't instill the positive until you've dealt with the negative, which is what I'm here for. And lastly, I have a ton of techniques I use. I've learned from many of the EFT masters. I've watched a lot of videos. I've taped a lot of EFT masters. I've watched Gary Craig, the founder of EFT. I watched his videos. I've worked personally with some of the best EFTers around, and I do my best to continue to learn all the EFT and meridian tapping techniques I possibly can. So depending on the situation, I might try some crazy things. Like, if the pain were a color, what color would it be? If it had a shape, what shape would it be? What sound? Now, this might seem strange to you, but just go ahead and give it a shot, because there's a reason I do things. And if you'd like to know the reason, I can help you. I can just ask. And I'll tell you what I'm doing, why I think it would help, why others, other people that have tried it and how it would help. If you want to take some of your time and session for me to explain to you what's going on, I have no problem like that. It's your session. We can stop and talk about anything you want. But my purpose here is to make you the best you can possibly be. So I'm going to be focusing on clearing all those negative feelings around the learned events when you were younger, and any time in between, but I will concentrate on the younger ones. But I'll stop and explain things if you'd like me to. So if that's actually called the color of pain. I might have you put a little light on the end of your finger. That's called Imagineering. I might ask you to go talk to yourself when you were 4 years old. Matrix reimprinting. I mean, there's a lot of different techniques that I'm grateful to have learned, and I'm going to use them to try to help you the best I can. So you tell me when you're uncomfortable, and concentrate on those feelings. Even when you can't remember anything, I might ask you to something I call let's pretend. Let's pretend you were 4 years old. Let's pretend that your mother came in and yelled at you since you don't remember. What would that little girl feel like, or what would that little boy feel like at 4 years old? You know that little boy more than anybody else in the world. Let's guess. Let's make it up. So I might ask you to pretend these things, and that might be a little weird to you. So this is just part of the process to help me help you, and help you help you. Because the truth is, it's not me, it's EFT and what we're doing for you and your involvement in it, so that I can and you can together as a team, we can make you the best you possibly can. So I look forward to our appointment, and I look forward to working with you and helping you be the best person you can possibly be.